Hey guys, how's it going? I am here. We're going to do a I am doing a puzzle today. I know, a puzzle. And so I figured, what the hey? I'll do a puzzle and you guys can hang out with me to see how I do how I do a puzzle. And this is my first time doing a puzzle. So I figure it's like, what do artists do when they're not painting or if they have like a painter's block? Do a puzzle. No, most of them don't do a puzzle, but we're down here in my living room. We're in the living room. And I've decided that I'm going to work on a puzzle and because there's different ways to work on a puzzle. But I discovered that the best way to do it, like I put this puzzle down probably like 3 days ago to do it. Look at all of these pieces. Can you see all of these? I was like, what the heck? So I'm going to be working on this puzzle for obviously probably a month. And this is the puzzle right here. This is what I'm going to put together. I figure I was like, oh, let's do this as a family. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then my family was like, yeah, no, you're going to have to do it yourself. And now that you've poured it all over the table, you really have to do it because now it's all over the table. And I mean, all over the table. So we're going to work on a puzzle today. And I'm trying to see, let's see if I got this on here. Let's see. Let's see where everything is. Let's see. Let's see. What did I do? Let's see. I'm going to put it right there. I'm checking so we're going to start the puzzle. And so here it is. Ba-da-da. But one of the things I've learned about doing a puzzle is it's like you can get caught up in like all of these pieces and it's the same thing with life. So I'm gonna take you through like a life lesson too. So I can literally get caught up in all of these pieces and totally panic and say, oh my God, this is a lot of pieces. Or I could look at organizing these pieces just like we do in life. So sometimes our life is so full and so jammed up until it just freezes us and we just stop doing anything because it's like there's just so much, there's too much to do. And so we're just like, we sit in the house and we just stare at the wall or watch TV or maybe read a book, but we don't do the things that we should be doing at that time. We tend to stop. It's like too much over when we're over um when we have too many things going on, when there's too many things piled onto our life, and it makes us freeze because it's like, oh, this is just too much. I can't handle it. I can't do all of it. And that's kind of how this puzzle is. It's like I got pieces all over here. Look at this. Look at all of those. So it's kind of like this how this puzzle is. There's just pieces everywhere and I do not know where to start. And sometimes that's how we are in our life. We're like there's such a mess and I just do not know where to start. So what I've discovered in doing this puzzle, because it's like it took me 3 days to start this. So you guys are going to walk through this puzzle thing with me. So it took me 3 days to start it. So we're going to walk through puzzle together. And so basically, what I've discovered is I'm just going to separate and just deal with certain things at one time. So what I'm going to do is, and this is something we could do with our lives as well, is when things are all jumbled up like this and you can't make it out, you can't make it out. It's like it's too much, it's too much. Just like our life sometimes, especially during the holiday season. It's like there's so many things going on in the holidays. There's decorating, presents, family, COVID, all of that going on during the holiday season. So we're like, what to do? Then, well, we're going to separate things and then we'll just focus on certain parts of it instead of trying to focus on all of it at one time. So what I started doing is I started making little piles, and that could be like making little lists for yourself. So I start taking out like all of these colors have blue in them. So I started putting all the blue piles together, and then all anything with like yellow, I started putting it over here. So this is like making a list of the things that I need to do during my day. So I'm gonna put blues with the blues, and I'll put greens with the greens, and then that way I'm kind of separating things out according to colors. And that's the best way to do a puzzle. I'm just going to let you know right now. Separate. Can you say that with me? Separate everything before you even get started. The other thing is to turn over so you can see all of your pieces. Turn them over, turn them over. And then we could take that into life as well. It's like sometimes we're working in the blind, we're working in the dark because we haven't turned over the pieces. We haven't turned over to actually see what we have and what we don't have. So we need to turn over the pieces so that we could see what we have and what we don't have. And that's kind of how we deal with life as well. We need to, in our lives, we need to turn over the pieces. So if they're not turned over, then we have no idea what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. So we're walking around in the blind because a lot of our pieces are still turned over. So go in, and it's like we're going to use this puzzle allegory and walk through some life lessons. We're going to walk through some life lessons putting this puzzle together, and it'll be similar to us putting pieces of our life together. So we're going to use this puzzle to go through and learn some life lessons. How about that? So what I'm doing is, as you can see, I'm separating out the different puzzle colors because in order to put this puzzle together, there's just no way I can attack it and just start putting pieces together like this because it's too much. So we're going to take it and we're going to make it smaller. So I'm going to make it smaller by putting certain sets together, and then I can see a little better, a little clearer of what I'm doing. So taking pieces out and putting them together, like I said, it's sort of like making yourself, making yourself a little notepad and writing down things so that you are kind of organizing what you're doing. You're organizing your life. You're organizing the different things you're doing. And then the other thing that I'm noticing is even within the ones that I'm doing, I'm actually making other little categories too. I'm moving some other stuff around. So sometimes in our life, we set up little parameters and things like that. And then all of a sudden, we realize that we have to change those up as well. But we have to also be open to that change. We have to be open to that change, but we have to be able to see it. And the way we can see it is by separating things and putting them in places and putting them in order and placing things in a certain order, in a certain pattern. Now, it's like, well, Louise, what happens when, I mean, sometimes you just can't put everything in an order. Sometimes you can't just put everything in a pattern. Look at that. They gave me a broke one. You can't just do that. Yes, but there is certain things that we can do in certain areas of our lives that we do have some control over. And so those areas of your life, go ahead and start putting those little pieces together. I'm not saying like COVID hit and everybody was like, all over the place, but there were still certain areas in your life, whether it's at home or with your children or with your spouse, that you could still have control over and still make sure and put it together. And so that's why we're using the puzzle, because what I'm doing is I'm separating out different parts of the puzzle, and then I'm going to tackle them one area at a time instead of tackling this whole thing. So, like when we're going through things in our life and we're feeling overwhelmed, and there's so much things, and that happens to me all the time. And the scripture, be anxious for nothing, but in all things through prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known. I repeat that, be anxious for nothing, because then it helps me to calm down to and then to be able to see what it is that I need to do, and then to put things in proper perspective and then tackle things one at a time. Sometimes there's just no way. It's like your whole house is a mess and you're like, I have to clean up this whole house. No, go clean up a room. Go clean up a room. Go clean up one room at a time. That's how trust me here, that's what I have to do. But I'm one of those top to bottom cleaners, so I have to clean up the bottom and then work my way up to the top. So, but there's just no way that you're going to tackle it all at once. So don't drive yourself crazy thinking, I'm going to tackle this all at once. It's just like me taking this puzzle and saying, I'm going to just grab pieces and put them together. That's not going to happen. If you've ever done a puzzle, you already know there's no way you're going to grab all of these pieces and just start jumbling and putting them together. You're not going to know where they go. So, what you're going to do is you're going to separate them, separate the pieces, and then after you've separated all the pieces, you're going to tackle one area at a time. And that's what we do with our lives. Instead of us trying to tackle all of this and all of the stuff that's going on in our life at one time, it's like I just can't. Instead of and getting frozen, because that's what happens is when we can't do it all at one time, we freeze. And so instead of us freezing because we can't do it, I would suggest you take one puzzle piece at a time, get it all separated into its own area, because this, I told you, this is going to be a really interesting one, and we'll be back every day working on it a little bit here and there. So this is going to be an interesting puzzle, isn't it? Look at that. I picked one that had some of everything in it. What was I thinking, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle a little bit every day, and that's how we look at a life when we're overwhelmed, when there's lots of things going on in our life. Don't try to do it all in one day. Don't try to do it all in one breath. Don't try to do it all in one sitting. Give yourself a break. And then also with like just like with what I'm doing with these pieces, I'm turning them over so that I can actually see what's really going on. We can't do we can't do all the things that we need to do if all of our pieces aren't in place, if we can't see all of the things that are going on in our life. So instead, before we jump into I have to do this and I have to do that, step back, turn the pieces over so you can have them in full view. Turn your pieces over like this, turn the pieces over so you can have your pieces all in full view so that you can see when you're walking through life, everything is in full view. So when you have a lot going on in your life and you're feeling overwhelmed, step back, turn the pieces over, because if you can't see the pieces, you don't know what's on the other side. So if it's on this side, you don't know. So step back, always step back from the situation. And just like in the puzzle, turn the piece over so you can view it and see, and then know where to put it. Know where to put it. And then you have prioritized. Then you prioritize. After you put it somewhere, you can prioritize. You can figure out where does this best fit? Where is this going to go in my life right now? And how do I deal with it right now? And so that's how we're going to handle this puzzle the way we handle life. We're going to separate all of the colors. Well, first number one, we're going to step back and turn over the pieces so we can see what we're working with. We're going to turn everything over so that we can see what it is we're working with. That's what we'll do after we turn over all the pieces. Then we're going to set the pieces in a certain we're going to organize them, and we're going to what we're doing right now is what I'm doing is I'm color code organizing them. Now you might organize yours a little different from the way I organize mine, but I'm organizing mine according to the different color schemes. And then I'm also putting certain color patterns next to each other because they're related color patterns, so I'm putting them kind of right next to each other. Then that way that related color pattern is also right next to each other, because sometimes some of the things that we do or some of the problems that we have or the burdens and things that we have are related to other things. And so in order for us to take care of this, we might have to take care of this a little bit and this a little bit, but taking care of things one at a time. And I know, and especially during this time of year, there's so many ways to be overwhelmed, but I'm here to tell you to breathe, to sit back, to relax, enjoy the holiday season. And if you do feel overwhelmed, get a puzzle. I know, maybe not a puzzle, because, like I said, this is my first time actually putting a puzzle together. And so I'm going to let you guys walk through this journey with me. And if you have any suggestions, do let me know. And if you have any comments, let me know too. Let me know in the comment section, because I'm going to be coming live with putting my puzzle together. I'm going to try to come live every day and put this puzzle together. And you guys are going to watch me put this puzzle together and see how well I do. So I just turned over several pieces, and then I still have several more. So I could literally be overwhelmed right now with all of these puzzle pieces. But you know what? I'm not. I'm not going to be overwhelmed because I now have a system, and that's how we can look at our life as well. We can put together a system in our lives to keep us, to help us from being or getting overwhelmed when we have so many things going on, and especially during the holiday season. So, that's my tale today, and that's what we're going to do today. And so, tomorrow we'll tackle some other parts of this puzzle. But look how cool it is. I love separating all of these pieces. And I'll more than likely work on this some more, separating some of the pieces. And then I will see you. What is tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. So I'll probably see you Saturday morning, and then we'll work on some more of this puzzle, and we'll work on some more of our life lessons as we do this puzzle. So thanks, guys, for tuning in. It's been a blast. Well, it's always a blast, but this was fun. And, it'll give me a chance to tackle this puzzle because I've never done a puzzle before. So if you have some comments, let me know. Or you have some suggestions, let me know. I would love to know. But I am looking forward to doing a puzzle. And I know this is a totally different spot than I usually am. Normally, I'm upstairs in my studio. But today I decided to come down here in my living room, and hopefully it's not too messy. Hopefully it's not too messy. But I decided to come down here in my living room, and I'm just on my iPhone right now. And so it always looks weird on the phone. But I'm going to scoot over and push the little button and say bye.